Ever wonder to yourself, why doesn't Glock enter the airsoft market? Or why fake EOTechs are so hard to find? How about when stores are sued for carrying these products? Well, that all has to do with licensing rights. Let's take two companies who have fairly different viewpoints on airsoft. Glock and Heckler & Koch. Glock, on one side of the spectrum, does not want their products to be in the airsoft world, which is why they're so hard to find in the US. H&K, on the other hand, does, but only if it's licensed under their name. I mean, after all, put yourself in their shoes. Would you want someone making money off of your design, even if it's a replica? Of course not. You want a piece of the pie, and if you can't have it, no one else can. So that puts brands like Umarex in a special spot. Umarex can purchase the licensing rights with a brand, and then they're able to make one-to-one replicas of firearms and have support from the firearm manufacturer itself. The airsoft manufacturer is happy because they can make certain firearm replicas without having to worry about legal issues, and the firearm manufacturer is happy because they're making money off something they have very minimal or no monetary investment in. Umarex has done this very well. They hold the rights to a lot of firearm companies, including H&K, Walther, Beretta, and more companies. Umarex then has their airsoft division, Elite Force, produce the licensed product with little to no competition. If you want an HK417, you have to buy the Elite Force one. There's always going to be overseas manufacturers making non-licensed versions because honestly, who gives a f*** about copyright and other property laws? Like Tokyo MARUI, for example, they don't have much of a foothold in the US with these types of products. These non-licensed or non-permitted copies can bring some pretty heavy consequences once they're in the US. The firearm or real manufacturer of the product can send cease and desist letters to retailers that carry these knockoffs, and it actually happens. EOTech actively goes against retailers selling fake versions of their optics. EOTech's reasoning is a pretty good one though, besides just protecting their profits. A lot of the fake EOTechs say for law enforcement and military use only on them, so EOTech is trying to keep these fakes away from real-world users who put their lives on the line. In the airsoft world, an example that comes to mind is Glock suing Airsplat a few years ago over selling replica Glock airsoft guns. Because airsoft guns are made overseas, Glock has a very little chance of winning a case against the manufacturers, so they go after the retailers themselves. Glock went after Airsplat for intellectual property and a patent on the external design of Glock products. H&K did a similar move about a year before this, but that was because they had their own line of airsoft guns through Umarex. Umarex won their lawsuit, and suddenly just about all non-licensed H&K guns started selling out like crazy, and they were soon replaced by the licensed Umarex and Elite Force versions. And this brings us to our next topic, OEM in the airsofting world. OEM, or original equipment manufacturer, is when a company makes a product or part of a product for another company. This is how brands like Elite Force operate. If you didn't know, Elite Force does not make a single airsoft gun that they sell. They give contracts to companies that do produce guns, and then sell them to retailers who in turn sell them to us consumers under the Umarex and Elite Force brand name. If you think that's odd, keep in mind that there are very few companies who make BBs in their own factories. Most companies outsource it to plants that specialize in BB production. Now that doesn't mean that every BB that comes out of the same factory is the same BB though, considering that there's only about 4 to 5 dedicated BB factories, but that's a story for another day. Elite Force has brands like VFC, KWA, and Ares makes their airsoft guns for them. Only Elite Force and Umarex can sell these, at least in the US, because of their licensing agreements with the firearm manufacturers that we discussed earlier in the video. The business of airsoft is honestly a pretty complex beast, and this all comes from my combined knowledge not only from being a player of the sport, but my time as an airsoft retailer as well. Which, mentioning that, we're actually running a summertime sale on our website, theairsoftarmory.com. The coupon code SUMMERSALE in all caps will save you 10% on non-mapped items. You'll even throw in a free bottle of Elite Force BBs with a Umarex or Elite Force brand airsoft gun purchase, like their new M9s, which will be in stock this week, and that I am very excited to get my hands on. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to let me know down in the comments about your thoughts on this video and the new format that it's in. My sources for the video will be in a link in the description below, so you can fact check me. And if you really enjoyed, you can always subscribe for more airsofting content and discussions like this one twice a week on the channel. This has been the BB Warrior, and I'll see you all next time.